What is up? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Show. I'm Smitty. I'm out and about, kind of traveling around. No, safely, not in public. People are asleep. People are indoors. I like to get outside, get some fresh air. And a lot of times doing a live outside allows me to, I don't know, get some energy back because I'm cooped up all day making videos, creating content for you guys indoors. So I like to get out to a couple of my favorite spots that I used to live stream at when there were a lot of people around. So I'm here right now in a shut down parking lot, shopping center with a lot of good lighting so I can talk to you all and talk fantasy football 2020 wide receivers. We're going to talk about top 10 wide receivers and only top 10 wide receivers. Now, you bring up running backs, you bring up other questionable topics that don't quite fit into the top 10 wide receivers. You take a lap and you don't get your question answered, which isn't exactly true because I break down and I usually answer a lot of questions, but try to stay on point. Try and stay on point. Now, give you a little advice. If you want to work in a wide receiver that may not be in the top 10 and you ask me, Smitty, how hard do you think it'll be for this guy to be a top 10 wide receiver in 2020 or in 2021? That might get you in the door with your question without a whole lot of yelling and screaming on my end. Now, Super Cooper says he can't go to bed now. I don't blame you. Why would you go to bed when the show little tunes while we're doing a live? Gasicki fan guy yelled, "Go home." Gasicki, what? You go home? Like he's driving around too. I love it. Go home. You see somebody out, and it's like when you're embarrassed to see somebody out, but you're out too. Like, come on, give me a break. Debo Samuel top 10 easily. No, I'm not going to put him there. Lamb top 10 for the future. JP, that is an affirmative. What's up, Kyle? What's up, Silver? Gasicki or Fant? Take a lap, Silver. Those aren't wide receivers. Now I can't go to bed. I already read that one from Super. Dried Ocean says McCaffrey top 10 wide receiver in 2020. You know, his daddy might have something to say about that. What's up, Elgin? What's up, Royal? What's up, Cotton? Colton Cotton. We'll call Colton Cotton from now on. Sorry, these are going fast. Daryl and everybody else. Thank you for joining me. Number one, how can we not put Mike Thomas number one? Somebody make an argument for no Mike Thomas number one. I'm not going to make fun of you or roast you, but I do want to hear from somebody that doesn't believe Mike Thomas is the number one wide receiver. I want to hear a legitimate argument if you got it. Don't just, come up with a fake argument. If you legitimately think that Mike Thomas is in a top one wide receiver, the number one wide receiver, make your argument. I want to hear the debate. I've seen is Mike Evans. Yeah, he's a top 10 wide receiver. I'll get to him. He's in my top 10 for sure. For sure. Mike Evans for sure. And when you talk about a top 10 wide receiver, you're talking about a wide receiver you should feel pretty comfortable with as your number one wide receiver, especially if you go running back early, like in the first round, you maybe go wide receiver late, or even at the top of the third. Maybe you've got the 1.01, you go Barkley, Mahomes, or Barkley and Kelsey, or Barkley and Drake falls to you because you're not in a community of drafters that come from where we come from, where we know Drake and Eckler are coming. We know these guys are coming. Other people don't. I see Drake go at 3.02 in some drafts. It's crazy. Drake at third round value is insane. Galladay top 10, no doubt, Rec. No doubt. You'll hear him dropped in a minute. I'm going to go in my order. I'm going to give you my order. Um, there is no argument for Mike Thomas. Yeah, I agree with you, JP, but I'm still thinking that somebody might come out with something. I think Thomas is still a top three, but with Sanders there, maybe Adams passes him. Okay, Super's got a take, and there's nothing wrong with that. Non-wide receiver related, no, Julius, we aren't doing that. What about Mike Evans? I already answered that. Yes. Diggs and Devontae could be sneaky. You talk about Devontae Parker. I agree. I think those guys are borderline, but they're not in my top 10. I got Drake at 3.02 in my Dynasty League. So pumped, says Royal. You should be. DJ Chark is right on that line, bro. DJ Chark is the top 10 wide receiver that you don't take top 10, though. Don't take DJ Chark top 10. He goes in the fourth and fifth round. So me Every Chark believer out there better get damn excited about Chark's value because it's dropping at 4.10, 4.12, 5.01, 5.02. It's Chark day uh, on draft day. It's value day on draft day when you're talking DJ Chark, being your quietly cool wide receiver one. If you wanted to go running back Mahomes, let's say your league lets Mahomes fall to the third round because your league doesn't know what they're doing. You're playing with grandma and grandpa and cousin Billy and Bob from accounting, and they don't know that Mahomes deserves to be in the second round because people regurgitate that no QB early bullshit. Then guess what? Guess what? You take Mahomes in the third round, you take Evans in the second round, who will be in the top 10 wide receivers in just a moment, and you take, Kamara, Zeke, Barkley, whoever you get. Then in the fourth round, let's say you don't take Evans. Let's say you take Drake in the second round, Elliott in the first round, and Mahomes in the third round. And now you haven't had a wide receiver yet. You go wide receiver shopping. You sneak on over. You sneak on over and you pick up yourself a little DJ Chark. You pick up yourself a little DK Metcalf. Those are elite wide receivers for that strategy. Those are wide receiver ones, borderline top 10, that are going to dance potentially in the 5 to 12 range all year long. Maybe DK Metcalf finishes at 10, but he has those cups of coffee with the top 5, 6 wide receivers on a lot of occasions in 2020. So DK Metcalf, DJ Chark, AJ Brown, and I'm about to drop a wide receiver. I don't recommend you draft him in the top 10, but my number, I don't know if I'm going to put him in my top 10 because people don't know how to digest this kind of content. They take what I say and then they draft them where I'm talking about them. So I'm going to give you a number 11 overall wide receiver in a minute. Odell Beckham Jr.'s borderline definitely has the potential to be a top 10 wide receiver. Juju has the potential to be a top 10 wide receiver, no question about it. Neither Juju or who's the other guy? Odell. Neither Juju or Odell will crack my top 10, but they're borderline. They're like the kind of wide receivers I don't mind as your fourth drafted player when you go running back Pat Mahomes or running back Kelsey, and you haven't taken a wide receiver until round 4 or 5. Odell fits the bill. Again, Chark fits the bill. A.J. Brown fits the bill to a T. You take A.J. Brown all day long in the fourth round, whether you've had a wide receiver or not. That guy is my fourth round favorite in 2020. Give me A.J. freaking Brown, baby. A.J. Brown all day long in the fourth. Juju not top 20. You know what? I understand where you're coming from, Fred. I do. I get it. I don't hate on that. I understand it. Keenan Allen top 10. Maybe King. He's not my top 10, but he could definitely get toward the bottom of that group. So I'm not going to hate on that at all. Hopkins over Thomas because he will have more targets. This is the first argument. I mean, you haven't given a detailed argument really, but I like where you're going. Adams, I feel like Adams is a very top 3, top 4 wide receiver capable guy, but I don't think Adams has anything to show for to surpass Mike Thomas. Like we thought maybe last year Adams could be the 1 or 2, right? And then he gets hurt. I think coming into this year, nothing's really changed, which you could say makes him still, around the 2 or 3, which is where he goes. But it's not like he came off a year where he didn't get hurt. It's not like Aaron Rodgers got a year younger. It's not like something happened with that Green Bay offense and defense, like they had a good draft, which they didn't, that it makes Adams more attractive than normal. So Mike Thomas just can't get dethroned by Adams, in my opinion. Adams is 2 or 3. I like him 2 or 3. I draft him 2 or 3 in terms of wide receivers, but I can't find a single argument for why Adams should go ahead of Mike Thomas. There's just not one. And you could draft him later anyways. Hopkins, on the other hand, and this is where I think, at least your argument here is going to make sense, even though you didn't get detailed about it. But Hopkins is going into a situation where he's excited. And I know there's a little bit of Browns, Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham Jr. feel to this. I'm not going to lie. I worry about it a little bit too. And I'm in Arizona. I'm in Arizona. Making you dizzy. So I'm a little excited. All right. But I'm not a homer. I know how to be objective. You don't ever hear me talk about Cardinal players unless it's 2020 because I recognize talent, opportunity, and a rise in a player that I feel like is unrivaled in the fantasy football industry. That's why I do bold predicting. That's why I've been successful for 16 straight years on CBS Sports Radio, dropping the bold predictions, and I'll be back on that. Hopefully this year we renew again. Uh, I do my 1 hour spot on the red zone with Russ Bliss. I have an hour spot that I do with him every single season, every Wednesday night, and I've done it for 16 years, dropping bold predictions. And when I get a feeling, and it's backed by stats, it's backed by all this stuff, but it's that gut feeling. On my bold predictions list, I usually nail a lot of them, and every once in a while there is a year where I don't hit as many. Everybody misses. And a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, what about your N'Keal Harry prediction?" Like, give N'Keal Harry some time. Our prediction was in 1 to 3 years, N'Keal Harry will be a top 5 wide receiver. Give the guy time. He looked electric at times in 2020. He had that amazing TD callback that was a touchdown. He did really well in the short window of time that he got to try out at the end of the year in 2020. Don't write N'Keal Harry off for the future. Don't rank him too high yet. Stidham and him have to build rapport. We've got to see if Stidham's going to develop. N'Keal Harry isn't ready yet. And he had a whole year of not playing, so he's kind of maybe behind in a way. Maybe that instilled some drive in him. Maybe he'll be even more amazing in the end because of that time he had to sit out and watch and learn. But N'Keal Harry's not there yet. Where was I going? I got sidetracked. I love Terry McLaurin. McLaurin's not top 10, but he could dance around that range. But you take him way later. Let's talk about the Cardinals. So I don't just homer up and tell you Drake, is going to be the best. Kyler is going to be the best. Hopkins is going to be the best. I've been critical about Cardinal players. I wasn't excited about DJ's. I like DJ at lower value last year. A lot of people like DJ last year. No one's shooting themselves in the foot by admitting they had faith to some degree in DJ last year. But when DJ climbed into the top 8, I was out. And you can look at my content where I'm like, no. Dalvin Cook. Don't draft David Johnson. Draft Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is in the intro video of every video I created in 2019. Top 5 running back. Dalvin Cook. Every single video, because that was my go-get player in 2020. I've got a few for you this year. You've heard me talk about Drake. You heard me talk about A.J. Brown. These are league winners. I know we're on the topic of Hopkins. I'm getting sidetracked, but I get excited. I get excited about my breakout calls, and I have to talk about it. A.J. Brown, my number 11 wide receiver on this list, and I don't know that I'd rank him 11, but I'm going to put him at 11 just to make a statement and let you guys know that this guy's going to be a wide receiver 1 in 2020. The guy at the end of this video is going to be a wide receiver 1 in 2020. And you won't have to take him anywhere near the top 10. In fact, when you hear his name at the end of this video, you're going to probably be like, what? And some of you might already know, you follow my content, but the guy I'm going to say at the end of this video doesn't belong in the top 10. No one's going to draft him anywhere near the top 10. People are going to laugh at you when you even suggest this guy is top 10 wide receiver value, but let them. No, not AJ Green. Fred, take a lap, Fred. Take a lap, Fred. This guy, Fred, I love you, bro fist. Everybody takes a lap at some point, Fred. If you're new. I don't know if you're new, Fred. I recognize you. I think you've been here for a while. So Hopkins is my number 2. Mike Thomas is 1. We're not going to dethrone him. But there's an extremely good argument to be made here that Hopkins with Kyler Murray is a match made in heaven. This marriage will work out. Kyler Murray is one of the more scrambling outside the quarterback, tossing the football quarterbacks in the NFL. But he wasn't real accurate. And when I had Matthew Berry on my show, Matthew Berry's the one that turned me on to this stat. and I don't have the exact stat in front of me, but something to the degree that Kyler Murray rolled out of the pocket more than most quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't know if it was the number one, and he was not very accurate outside of the pocket, which you could say, oh, that's a bad sign. Why is he doing that then? Who is the number one wide receiver in the league to catch a football with his quarterback outside of the pocket? What wide receiver loves to catch the football with his quarterback rolling outside the pocket? DeAndre Hopkins. You have a quarterback that loves to throw outside the pocket. You have DeAndre Hopkins who loves to catch the football outside the pocket. You have DeAndre Hopkins who has a catch radius better than almost anybody in the entire league, if not for sure better than anybody in the entire league. And he can work defenders one on one and cause unnoticed offensive pass interference to get a football and make a big play, go up and get a football against anybody, score touchdowns. He's going to have 10 TDs in 2020. DeAndre Hopkins is going to make Kyler Murray on a whole nother level. He's going to bring him right up into the elite, bring him right up into the top three quarterbacks in fantasy football. Kyler Murray's a top three quarterback, people. You can draft Russell Wilson 3. I won't be mad at you. You can take Watson at number 4 if you want. I won't be mad at you. But Kyler Murray's my 3. And Kyler Murray's been my 4 all off season long. My number 4 QB. When he got DeAndre Hopkins, when Kyler Murray landed DeAndre Hopkins on his roster, on his team, this is Kyler Murray's team, and he looked up at that TV. He looked up at his teammates and he said, "You guys, huddle up." I'm just making fun of his height. He plays bigger than he is. Kyler Murray. I ran to my computers at Sleeper U and the Fantasy Football Show headquarters. I got excited. I knew where he was ranked. I knew. But for whatever reason, I ran to my computer like I was going to make some big move, and I moved him from 4 to 3. And everybody else in the whole world, in the fantasy football analyst world, the rankings world, guess where they moved him? From like 7 to 4, 7 to 3, 8 to 3. I already had Kyler Murray as my breakout QB, the Lamar Jackson of 2020. I've had that up since January on sleeperu.com. Of course, being AZ, I'm a homer for Murray. Sand is saying that. I'm reading Sand's comment. I'm not, though. Like, I'm a homer in the sense that, when I recognize it to be true, like this is going to work out. Like, I'm objective about it from a fantasy perspective, but I can also be very excited from a fan perspective. And I can separate the two because I started playing fantasy football before I was an NFL fan in 1992. It's my first year playing fantasy football. I didn't know what I was doing. We drafted off Tecmo Bowl and played the seasons out, simulated them, and that's how I got into fantasy football. I didn't even know. I didn't watch a game. I was playing Tecmo Bowl. Who are the best players in Tecmo Bowl? Who am I getting burned by my buddy after school every day? I'm going to draft him number 1 overall. That's how I got into fantasy football. I have the weirdest backstory to getting into fantasy football. It's Tecmo Bowl is how I got in. What other analyst has that story? That is, in a weird way, giving me no homerisms. I'm objective as hell, man, and I play in so many leagues. I own Barkley, McCaffrey, Elliott, Cook, Henry, Mike Thomas. If I said Kamara, Adams. I own one of those guys in every one of my leagues. I have so many leagues that I do. It makes me objective because I don't care. I'm not gonna talk up a player like Cook if I really don't believe Cook's gonna do well, because I own all the other players around him. I own Cook in one league. I don't own him in 10 others. I'm objective. I don't care. That one league doesn't bother me. So I can be very, very, very objective. DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray are going to have a rapport that's going to put DeAndre Hopkins on a whole different map. DeAndre Hopkins is arguable as the wide receiver 1 in 2020. I don't recommend you draft anybody over Mike Thomas, but if you're going to, D-Hop is the guy. D-Hop is, you could argue Mike Thomas has proved on paper, situation and talent put together, he's the best player in the NFL at the wide receiver position. But if you look at talent alone, kind of like when you look at McCaffrey and Barkley, McCaffrey's kind of the best player in the league outside of Mahomes, in my opinion, because of situation and talent that you can't separate. You can't separate situation and talent. You can't. It's one in fantasy football. You got to understand that. You got to be able to evaluate both of them too, because the situation changes and you think talent's going to win out all the time. It does a lot of the time, but you got to understand the difference of situation changing. McCaffrey's got a new quarterback. What will that do to the offense? McCaffrey's situation may have been altered to a point that later on in retrospect, we're like, holy shit, how did we not know that McCaffrey was going to take a big dip in this category or that category, or maybe even take an increase in this category and a dip in that category and it washes? I'm not saying McCaffrey will bust, but Barkley's better than McCaffrey. Barkley is the best running back in the NFL, but situation has been a little bit lacking for him. Therefore, McCaffrey's blowing him out of the water. I think the tables are gonna turn. Situation is gonna be phenomenal for Barkley in 2020. Barkley has a quarterback that's about to become a top 6 quarterback in Danny Dimes. Slayton's gonna blow up. Barkley's gonna catch 95 plus balls in 2020. He might beat McCaffrey out in PPR production, and everyone's going to be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you said that." Barkley caught 90 something passes in 2018, guys. This is his third year, believe it or not. It seems like he's been in the league longer. Barkley's still going to get better. If that's even this, I mean, this would be the year he gets better. Running backs have a short shelf life, but a third year, this is the year that Barkley's going to, yeah, I got to take a lap because I'm talking about running backs. Barkley's going to take a step forward and be even better than before. Barkley's going to get better. Chew on that. Barkley's my number one. Hopkins is my number two. This is a wide receiver episode. Take a lap, Smitty. I wouldn't take a lap if I wasn't already out of breath yelling at you guys. Hopkins number two. Give me Hopkins number two. Give me Devontae, for all the reasons I said it. Give me Devontae. Give me Devontae Adams number three. And I think that talent's there. I don't think Rodgers is going to decline yet. I think people are absolutely crazy off the rocker to say Rodgers at 36 years old, oh my God, he's done. Noodle arm on the way. When you got Brady in his 40s, Breeze in his 40s. I mean, Rodgers isn't even near his 40s yet. He's 36 years old. Give him a break. And I think that the Lizard's better than people think. I think Lazard will have a better year than people think. He's a good complement wide receiver to Devontae Adams. They brought in A.J. Dillon. They've got Aaron Jones. They've got a lot of weapons. They have as many weapons as Deshaun Watson has, and I know he runs the football. They got as many weapons as a lot of teams where no one's complaining about the wide receivers. I mean, is Lockett, DK Metcalf, Carson, and an ACL torn recovering Penny and Hollister, are all those guys that much better than Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, and Lazard? Not really. So stop talking about Aaron Rodgers not having the weapons to do well. They had a shitty draft. No question about it. Like the Green Bay Packers should have taken Denzel Mims. What were they thinking? The Green Bay Packers should have taken Claypool and given Rodgers that. And they didn't have to convert him to a tight end. Throw him out there at wide receiver. I love it. And Rodgers would have had an even better year. But Rodgers will do okay. Devontae Adams, as long as he's healthy, will be the wide receiver he should have been last year, which is in the 2 to 3 wide receiver range. I love it. I love it. Give me D. Adams all day long. So Hopkins, D. Adams. Tyreek Hill is probably most people's number 4, and I think I'll rank him 4. I think that Mahomes alone is like the only argument you really have to make. You can worry about Hill off the field. You can worry about Hill on the field. You know, the guy came back so early from that collarbone break. I don't know how he didn't get hurt. And there's one time where we thought he did break it again when he landed, I think, on his back. A couple games into that. I forget what game it was, what week it was. But we thought, oh, my God. Does anybody remember that? We're like, oh, my God. He broke his collarbone again. He literally went out of the game. And then all of a sudden you're watching, I don't know if you're like me, you're watching the red zone, and they cut away. So you don't even know what the hell's going on. And then they cut back to the Chiefs game, not expecting Hill to be in the game. We're like, are we going to get a Hill update? Is he really out for the year again? And then Hill's back in the game. And it's like, oh my God, this guy, I thought he tore his collarbone or broke his collarbone again or tore something. I don't know. So Hill's an easy 4 for me. The volume's there. The guy's a physical freak. The golf cart guy's checking on me again. I absolutely I love Hill. Hill's a great number 4. I'm not going to say that I won't go running back instead of Hill though in the first round. I find myself doing that more often than not. I find myself going Kamara over Hill. I find myself going, um, obviously Cook, Kamara, Hill. I don't like to take until the late first round, like kind of near a bookend pick. But there, I like him. So the real question is at number 5, right? Who are we taking? Are we taking Godwin? We taking Mike Evans? What are you guys thinking? Julio, Evans, Godwin? Who are we liking here? Who are you guys liking at the 5 spot? We got number 1. Number 1, Mike Thomas. Number 2, DeAndre Hopkins. Number 3 is Devontae Adams. Number 4, Tyreek Hill. Number 5, who are we going with? We got 1 Godwin vote. We got 1 Julio vote. I'll tell you who I want in a second. But I want to get a feel for what you guys are thinking. Because I've been talking a lot. I haven't been even reading some of these comments. Easy number 3 for me. I think you're talking about Hill. Evans number 4 for JP. Go Bill, says Walker. Odd year injuries. I love Tyreek Hill, but he screwed me last year, says Sand. Buffalo over Arizona. No way, bro. But I still appreciate you. Don't forget about who? Who are you talking about, JP? Rogers is a big avoid for you, Royal. Not for me, man. I understand it, though. Murray won't finish the season. Kyler, watch your mouth. Earmuffs, guys. Don't listen to what Walker. Walker, take a lap. Kamara, 4th pick. Drake, 16. Rogers, number 1. Sleeper quarterback. I agree. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying about Evans is your 5. Roger says, Evans, do you even read the comments? Yes, Walker. Do you not hear me reading the comments, Walker? Second of all, Walker, I know you're probably new, and I appreciate you. So let me start off with that. Walker. The good. Second, I mean, answer this honestly. Does it look like I'm not busy at the moment? I had Sand. Who was it, Sand, that took the camera from you too? I did a meet and greet show once, and I wanted people to realize how hard it is to read comments and talk about topics and keep rolling. It's an art form to be able to articulate something without fumbling around all the time, without even knowing. I only know about 4 seconds ahead about what I'm about to say, but I've done this a long time, so I can think ahead and try not to fumble around too much. But when you hand the phone to somebody and you watch them try and do a live, answer even 1 or 2 questions that are going through while they're staying on topic and answering and talking about stuff that's going to keep people watching. Like Walker, if I just read all the comments, and I like Walker's taking a good approach as he's laughing. I like it, Walker. Walker, you get a free get out of lap free card just for being a good sport. But it's tough. Sand, tell people. Sand says right here. Yep, it's tough. I forgot his name. Dang it. I don't know who you're talking about. Oh, yeah. Who was it that was doing it with us? It wasn't Sand. It was it was Sand. But who was the other? I always mix your guys' names up too. You're not new? Okay, Walker, I'll take a lap for that because I didn't recognize you weren't new. Walker, I remember you. Sorry. I get so many people that come through here. Can you make the argument for drafting A.J. Brown? Soon. You hang tight. You hang tight, Con. You hang tight. You don't think Julio is the biggest upside? At least he's a beast in the game. Fred, I like Julio kind of around this range, but I find myself not drafting him because I worry about when's that year he's going to fall off. I want to be a year early versus a year late. I worry about his foot. To my knowledge, he still has a screw in it, and every once in a while his foot's hurting him, and I think it's a matter of time before something pops up with that foot. But that's me being presumptuous. I don't have a whole lot of evidence to back that up, but a gut instinct, and I'm admitting that. So you can't really come at me and say, Smitty, you can't say that. Yeah, I can, because I'm telling you up front. I'm taking away all your power to belittle my argument. I am using my gut instinct right now to tell you that I don't know that I trust Julio the year that I draft him high because I've been avoiding him a little bit, and I he's a low touchdown guy some years. Um, the foot worries me, and there's just other players around him that feel more touchdown heavy. Like Evans feels like he's going to get you. Evans is he's the definition of a 1,000-yard receiver, and Evans has more 10 TD potential than Julio, in my opinion. So I just feel like it's arguable. It's arguable. So I'm going to say here, Evans or Godwin. Evans or Godwin. Let's see. This is a tough one for me. If we go Godwin, do we go Evans right away or do we go Julio Evans? Let's put it as, and I don't need to argue a whole bunch about these two. What's up, Kat? Thank you for staying up late with me. I'm going to go Godwin, Julio Evans. Godwin, Julio Evans. So your top, so I got Thomas 1, DeAndre Hopkins 2, Devontae Adams 3, Tyreek Hill 4, Godwin 5, Julio 6, Adams 7, and get ready for the next 3. They might shock you. They may not. Galladay, number 8. A.J. Brown, number 9. Both of which you could probably get outside your top 10 drafted wide receivers, so be careful. Dummy proof yourself against my bold rankings and my bold stances, especially with wide receivers and deep sleeper running backs and even QBs at times. Throw all positions out there. I just named all the positions. Every position but QB, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Dummy proof yourself against my bold predictions because ADP is your guide. ADP is your North Star as to where to take the player. My rankings and my bold predictions are to guide you into navigating into spots where you're going to get a ton of value if you play the ADP right and you work your league. Work your league mates and try and land these guys where you can. Maximize draft value. At every draft selection, you should ask yourself, first of all, hit the thumbs up. Why do we have 50 to 60, 70 people in here and only 17 thumbs up? Really? Use every pick when you're on the clock. Every pick. Ask yourself, am I drafting a player, thank you for the thumbs up, that can exceed his draft value, even if he maybe even slightly disappoints, or at least earn back the value at where I'm drafting him? Show some love. Absolutely. Look at that, you guys. Roll in the where was everybody at? You guys are ready, waiting to hit that thumbs up. Do that every time for me. Let's get this show moving. Not because I'm all about views or followers or subscriptions. It's about getting you guys in a place where I can provide a show that's literally every day from like 10 to 2, and produce content on top of that. Like I'm going to release videos every day, but I will have a live show from either 10 to 2 or like 5 to 7 at night. And that's my goal for you guys. I need to have the sponsorships there. I need to have a lot of this. I just smashed a bug in his guts all over my arm when I was trying to swipe him off. That's disgusting. I need to get to a certain level to do certain things, to get certain, things in motion, to maybe hire more people or do something that's going to free up my time to be able to do. So like, I need help with that. And that's what I ask for you. Share the show. Tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell everybody. So number 1, Mike Thomas. Number 2, DeAndre Hopkins. Number 3, Devontae Adams. Number 4, Tyreek Hill. Number 5, Chris Godwin. Number 6, Julio Jones. Number 7, Mike Evans. Number 8, Kenny Galladay. And I don't know what you guys said about Kenny Galladay. I'm trying to see what you guys said about that. Get off me, bugs. That's one thing about Arizona with this heat. Is you get all these bugs that land on your face while you're doing a live outside, disrupting things. A.J. Brown, number 9. Galladay and A.J. Brown. So my 8 and my 9. Galladay you can get probably at 10 to 12. Galladay sometimes goes at the late second round, but a lot of times you find him in the third round. Galladay's a 10 TD wide receiver, mofos. Galladay is someone spit out some yardage and reception total predictions. I want to see what you guys think of Galladay. Is Galladay a 1,400-yard receiver? Is Galladay going to catch 80 passes, more, less? Tell me what you think. Stafford's finally healthy. They have a running back and Swift, who I doubt from the perspective of that's a good stat line. 85, 13, 50, and 12. I like that, Devin. I've been on Galladay since he came into the league. I love him. Well, Jack, you're the man. Stafford is good for Galladay. And you know the one thing about Galladay, what did Royal says 93, 1,236 yards, like how precise Royal is. J Problem says 95 for 1,310. Royal says 9 TDs. Rex says 83, 1340, and 13. JP says 11 TDs, 3,000 yards, 75 receptions. The thing I love about Galladay is Galladay's already proven to be able to handle anything you throw at him. He's proven that it doesn't matter who's the quarterback. There are certain wide receivers that know how to get the football from badly throwing quarterbacks and badly thrown errant passes. Galladay's one of them. Galladay proved it. Galladay's proven, he's tested, he's licensed, and he's bonded. He can get out of a mess and a QB carousel better than anybody. Obviously, he did it. So if you give him a healthy Stafford, watch out. If he loses Stafford again, he knows how to navigate that situation. I love Galladay. Proven, bro. Proven. Thank you, Bear. Thank you, Bear. Bear says I'm the best. Bear, you're the best, baby. A-Rob has to be top 10. He's not super, but he's capable of top 10. He's not top 10. I find a lot of people are very passionate about having him in the top 10 when I think it's understandable why he's not, but I think it's understandable why you like him there. And guess what? You're going to get him later, 9 times out of 10, and you're going to benefit if you do believe that A-Rob's going to have another, amazing year, and he could. I'm not ripping on A-Rob. My number 9 was A.J. Brown. You ready for number 10? DK mother freaking Metcalf, baby. So my 8, 9, and 10 probably don't match the industry. My 1 through 7 probably are pretty close. Again, Thomas number 1, Hopkins number 2, Devontae Adams number 3, Tyreek Hill number 4, Chris Godwin number 5, Julio Jones number 6, Mike Evans number 7, Kenny Galladay number 8. That's my first, I think, wide receiver I'm ranking in my top 10 that probably doesn't match the industry. Number 9, A.J. Brown. That doesn't match the industry. I think he's top 5 bound, but don't draft him there. Draft him where you can. Don't even draft him as the 9th taken wide receiver if you don't have to. And you probably don't have to. Make sure you keep tabs on ADP movement and where these guys are going. Diggs, I rank outside the top 12, but capable of top, 11 to 15. He's capable of it. Changing teams, it's tough for wide receivers. So you got to factor that in. But Diggs definitely 11 to 15. You got to be okay with me respecting him in the 11 to 15 range. DK Metcalf, number 10. DK's looking at 10 TDs. Why are you in a parking lot? Because I said, like I said in the beginning, you probably missed the beginning of the show. I like to get out a little bit, man. Change my scenery. Like, don't you guys agree? And tell me if you're wrong. That it's nice to have a little variation on my background of where I'm at. I'm always in the studio. It gets hot in my studio. I'm going to redesign some of it, make it bigger, a bigger space. Once I have that, I probably won't ever leave my studio. Let's see. Cooper Kupp over DK. No way, kiddo. Dislike kiddo. But I think you have an argument to be made that he's getting close to that range. Hit the thumbs up on your way in, please. Some of the players ADP has changed. Do you plan on changing and on sleeper? Yes. I have it dated, so you'll see the ADP date is dated, so you know that it's not been updated yet to account for all the rookies. I've been waiting till the rookies get kind of factored into things. I might do a dynasty ADP and a redraft ADP. Diggs is like 13 to 15 just because it's a new team. I think that's kind of why I have him kind of capped out at 11, 12, 13, somewhere around that. So the reason I'm in the parking lot is to get rid of just the mundane, every video, the same background in my studio. But if you want to see my studio, bro, which is top notch, show me a studio cooler than the Fantasy Football Show studio. Get on over to my other videos and check it out. Wipe your feet before you come in, gentlemen, says Devin. And what Devin means by that is you hit that thumbs up, baby. No loitering. I've had that golf cart guy come by like 2 or 3 times. But I like it. I'll answer honestly. I want to do what you guys think. Do you like it better when I'm always in the studio, or do you like it when I'm kind of out and about? Open 24 hours, just busting your balls. Love you, Smitty. No problem, bro. Ranking for Amari, Lamb, and Gallup. What's up, Double A? Rent a scooter. I don't. I think the scooters all got picked up, bro, because of COVID. I can't find them anymore. Not where I'm at. Otherwise, I'd be hopping on a scooter right now with some gloves and a mask. Loving you go to random places, says Devin. Thank you. Bear likes no studio. See, I think people like me getting out and about. When I get my new studio built and kind of redeveloped, oh, you guys are gonna love when I'm in the studio because it won't just be. I've got. I don't even want to ruin it for you, but I got so many cool plans for my studio. My studio is going to be the best studio on the planet. Um, so you'll love me when in the studio then. Okay, you like the strip club parking lot. What backstory on this for those that don't know, and everyone's gonna say it's a lie. People are gonna tell their kids that I was at a strip club. I was getting food at one of my local pasta places, and it just so happened that they got this neon like strip club light up on the top of the building the day that I went to go do that. So even Miss Smitty's like, okay, I sent you to go do pasta. I saw you go live, and there's neon lights behind you, and you took like an hour and a half to go pick up an order that you should have been back and gotten the order in 15 minutes. But because I do a live when I go out, I get in trouble all the time. I do a live. I expect to go on Instagram for like 10 minutes or YouTube. And then before you know it, I'm live for like 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes. An hour goes by. And Miss Smitty's like, where's the food? Where are you at? Why are there neon lights behind you? And I couldn't get out of it. It was like I was busted, but I was innocent. And I showed everybody, I'm like trying to show the pizza joint. Okay, so you guys ready for my number? He's not number 11, but I'm gonna talk about him. This is a guy that you're gonna hear me beat into the ground like a dead horse. Like this content's gonna get almost old. This guy's a top 10 wide receiver. You better not draft him in the top 10 or you're not listening. Okay? Let me repeat that. Do not draft this guy in the top 10, but he will be a top 10 wide receiver or at least dance in the 9 to 12 range all year. Are you ready for it? Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown is going to be one of my biggest bold prediction lands in 2020, and I'm going to scream it from the rooftops from now until kickoff of week 1. I'm not going to let up. Hollywood Brown is going to be a top 10 wide receiver in 2020. He's going to be off the charts good. He's going to be phenomenal. He is not going to be a wide receiver 2. He's a wide receiver 1. And you can draft him in round 6 or round 7. Do not draft Hollywood Brown where these guys are getting taken. DK Metcalf going in 3-4, round 3-4. Keenan Allen going in round 4, round 5. All these guys are going way before Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown is smaller. Hollywood Brown is very injury prone, according to a lot of people. Hollywood Brown had a phenomenal year, and there's reports that he could barely walk at times in between games, waiting to kind of get as healthy as he could to get back on the field with that foot that was bothering him all year. And the guy, if you watch, I'm going to post it on Instagram. I can't post it on YouTube. I'm going to post it on Instagram. There's footage of this guy doing footwork drills right now with, I believe, the Footwork King. I think is his name. Does all the footwork with all the pros, all the elite talent. Hollywood Brown's working, bro. You know what Joe Mixon's out doing right now? He's boozing it up on his Instagram lives while everybody thinks Joe Mixon's going to be a top 5 to 10 running back in 2020. Smitty's telling you to stay away from Joe Mixon. Smitty's telling you and has been telling you to stay away from Leonard Fournette all offseason. Everybody ripping me apart in the comments, especially on Instagram, about why I'm clowning on Mixon and Leonard Fournette all offseason long. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's kind of getting on board the no Fournette train. The team didn't extend him. They're trying to get rid of him at every turn. They tried to write him off the last offseason in January. Yes, he had a good year. Any player that had the year he had, the team would want him back if he wasn't a serious locker room problem, a serious person, like a guy that just can't get along with not only the team but the personnel, the organization doesn't want him in Jacksonville, and they can't seem to get a bite on the trade market for him for a low asking price. I've heard some ridiculous price tags for him that any team would be crazy not to take a stab on. And what did I say? And you could argue that Carlos Hyde isn't a big time prospect, but I did say Miles Sanders is my other running back to stay a little clear from at the asking price that's kind of floating around right now for Miles Sanders in drafts, which is second round. I'm not saying I don't like Sanders at late third round value. I do. So I'm not calling him a total bust. But I've been saying it since January that the Eagles run more than one running back. Everybody's been telling me, Smitty, there's no one else there. Boston Scott, Clement, what's going to happen? How's Sanders? He walked out of the NFL draft unscathed. They're talking about bringing Carlos Hyde. Now, Carlos Hyde doesn't scare me a whole lot, but it tells you, yeah, I mean, Sanders is climbing way too high. It tells you that the Eagles don't, for whatever reason, and their track record is proof. They don't always buy into one running back. And I like Sanders, so please, guys, don't twist it all up. At the right price tag, I'd be on board. I'd take him in the late third round, but you can't get him anywhere near there. He's in the second round, and as Renee just said, he's creeped into the first round in some drafts. It leaves no room for being wrong. It leaves no room for disappointment. It leaves no room for anything to go wrong at all. And you have to have them completely overperform in order for you to get your value back. Double A says Sanders in the first in many mocks I have done. That's what I'm saying. You can't take Miles Sanders that high. You just can't. You're leaving no room for upside. Royal says, I got to say, Smitty, you were right about Sanders. Eagles literally never go for one running back. And you'll have a lot of people tell you, and I know the Sanders deal or the Carlos Hyde signing isn't official yet. At least it might not. It wasn't when I checked last, but maybe it did a few minutes ago. I don't know. He's not that crazy of competition for Sanders, but it's like a theme with the Eagles. And he's good enough. He did good enough to be a nuisance and to take away that, Sanders doesn't have any competition at all in a regime that shares carries for their running backs. They divide up carries. Had he walked in with just Boston Scott, it would have been a lot harder for the argument to make a lot of sense, I think, to people that want to buy into Sanders. But now that Hyde's there, I think people are going to back off a little. My whole point, yeah, I'll keep taking him in the third round too. I would. The whole point is that, where was I going with this? Hollywood Brown. Sidetracking Smitty. Sidetracking with Smitty. That's what we should call this show. Sidetracking with Smitty. Where was I going? Hollywood Brown, top 10 wide receiver. Don't draft him there. Don't draft him anywhere near there. Draft him in round 6, round 7. Here's a trick. Go running back, tight end, QB heavy, whatever. Take one wide receiver. If you want to go cheap at your wide receiver 2 and get almost wide receiver 1 numbers or get wide receiver 1 numbers, that's when you go a greeting, please. What's up? What's up? I don't know if this is spam or what. My mods will take care of that if it isn't. But greeting to you. Hollywood Brown is a sneaky good wide receiver 2 if you want to take a wait and see approach on your wide receiver 2 position. I like it a lot. I love it. It's one of my favorite moves. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is getting in the first round in mocks also. Yeah, Double A, I feel kind of responsible for that. He shouldn't be. Clyde Edwards-Helaire should be falling further. If he's not in redraft, he's got to go at 3.01 range. And if he doesn't, I mean, I could understand late second, but you really want to get him in the third round in redraft. In Dynasty, if I have to, I'll take him as high as 2.01. But you try and get him later if you can. I've seen him go at the late second in Dynasty. I've still seen him go in the third round in Dynasty. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire doesn't belong in the first round yet. And I will pay it in Dynasty around the 2.01, 1.11 range if I have to, but you don't have to. The Fresh Prince of Hilaire. We call him King Edwards around here more than anything else, but yes. 2.02 in your Dynasty startup, I'm okay with that, JP. But not in Dynasty. Dynasty is a 3.01. That's where you win a league in redraft. I'm sorry, redraft is a 3.01. In Dynasty, if I worded that wrong, I'm not sure. Dynasty 2.01, I'll go that high. Redraft Clyde Edwards-Helaire 3.01. Will you do a top 10 running back soon like this? I will. I'll do my next video. I'll do it. Clyde, Hollywood is like a shadow. He's quick but quiet. Okay, here's the thing about Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown, his footwork is phenomenal. His speed is unreal. People won't understand how this guy slipped past them in fantasy football drafts. People won't understand how they didn't see this coming. Just by watching a little of his breakout performance, which was limited here and there, is like spotty because he got hurt all last year. But just watching flashes of him turning into the wide receiver, I really believe he's going to fully turn into this year. I knew it just watching the guy. And as the off season's gone along, moved along, I've watched more and more film on him, and the work ethic. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Mixon, we're circling back. I know where I'm at now. His work ethic is amazing. He's out there doing footwork drills. He's out there improving. He's out there working hard. While guys like Mixon are not. Mixon's out partying, and maybe Mixon's doing a lot on the field that we don't know about, and he's just partying at night. But the guy's proven to make bad decisions on and off the field. And the fact that Bengals offense could struggle, I'm staying clear. But guys like Hollywood, who are working hard on their footwork, getting faster, getting stronger, he's probably working on not only conditioning, but nutrition and all that. This guy's got the right mindset for an off season like this. There are a lot of players that I think aren't prepared or equipped to self-manage, to be self-motivated. But guess who is? Hollywood Brown. Guess who's going to surprise everybody and be a top 10 wide receiver in 2020? And you won't have to pay but 6th or 7th round value. You better not pay more than 6th or 7th round value because you don't have to. His name is Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown potentially could have that win a league ability. Hollywood Brown could have that win a league ability for you. He's going to be that good. And I can't wait. And I'm super excited. I like McLaurin too, but A.J. Brown and Hollywood Brown are probably my two favorite wide receivers in 2020 to over-deliver to the extreme. A.J. Brown, you could draft him around 9 to 12 for wide receivers, maybe outside the top 10 on the regular. And he's a top 5 bound wide receiver in fantasy football in 2020 and obviously beyond. And Hollywood Brown, you can get in the 6th or 7th round, and you better not take him earlier than that. He's going to be a top 10, top 12 wide receiver in 2020. Mark my words on it. Hollywood Brown is going to help you win leagues in 2020. That's what I got for you today, guys. Top 10 wide receivers. There you have it. DJ Chark is right there. I put Chark at 11. I draft Chark way ahead of Hollywood Brown because he can. I draft Chark at the end of the 4th if I have to. No question about it. Hollywood Brown, you get him around 6, 7. My favorite teams and builds in 2020 are going heavy at running back, taking Mahomes and 2 running backs if I can. If Mahomes falls to the 3rd round, which in some leagues he does, some leagues he doesn't. So you get Barkley, you get Drake, or you get Elliott or Kamara and you get Drake. Let's call it Elliott and Drake to make it simple. You get Zeke Elliott in round 1, you get Drake in round 2. You get Mahomes in round 3, or Kelsey or Kittle. Round 4, A.J. Brown. And if you can, top of round 5, Chark. Get DK if you can't get one of those guys. My favorite strategy is to go heavy, Zeke, Drake, Mahomes, and get a combination of these sophomore wide receivers and Chark. So mix Chark in there. Chark, Hollywood Brown, AJ Brown. So Chark's the only non-sophomore, but he's in that young group. So Chark, AJ Brown, Hollywood Brown, DK Metcalf, McLaurin. Load up with those sophomores and Chark. Those guys are going to blow up in 2020. They're a wide receiver class in 2019 that could go unmatched for a decade. It's possible that this wide receiver class in 2019 is going to outperform in the long term the 2020 wide receiver draft class. I really love the wide receivers in 2019, the rookies. They are phenomenal. Sophomore slumps do happen. Why is my nickname Smitty? Just been called it, most of my life. I will be doing my top 12 running backs. Don't you worry. What is Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's ceiling in 2020? Top 5 to 10 running back. That's his ceiling value. As a redraft running back, you just do not want to take him any earlier, than in redraft. I mean, you could go, like, if you have bookend picks, it doesn't matter. Like, let's say you have the 2.11. Like, you almost have back-to-back picks. If you felt like he was going to go in redraft, I wouldn't be opposed to you taking him there. But he really has more value in redraft as your third drafted player because you build in that what if he starts off slow? What if all rookie running backs don't carry even close to a full workload because of the coronavirus situation and the lack of absorbing playbooks and learning and meshing with teams? What if it causes rookie running backs like even Jonathan Taylor, who's supposed to be a workhorse situation, right? What if these guys don't hit the field as much as you think for the first 4 weeks of the year? So we could have a delay in the season and the rookies get more work and practice than we expect too. We don't really know. We're in uncharted territories, uncharted waters. We don't know what's going to happen. But what I do know right now, today, right here, is that guys like Aaron Jones, who are traditionally lazy, traditionally not in shape, like he was last year, when Aaron Jones cracked my top 7 bold predictions in a positive way. I predicted Aaron Jones would be a top 5 running back. Was I right? I was right. So I think I have a little bit of pull when it comes to talking about Aaron Jones and what he's capable of in 2020 and what he's not capable of. And I don't think he's a great bet in a modified offseason where there's a likely chance this guy doesn't have the oversight, nutrition, and motivation to be where he was last year heading into 2019. I'm staying away from Jones. I'm going after players that have good work ethic. I'm going after Kamara more than Henry. I'm not saying Henry's not working hard, but Kamara I know is a guy that puts in the work. And he got a bad rap last year. He was hurt. Kamara, to me, I'm loving Kamara in 2020. And I love when people say he's not a workhorse. He's not a workhorse, Smitty. Workhorses get X number of rushes. I'll define workhorse however I want. You define workhorse however you want. Workhorse to me is touches, not carries. Kamara's a workhorse. Don't argue Kamara's not a workhorse. That's a ridiculous statement. Ridiculous. Kamara is a workhorse. Kamara is Marshall Faulk not a workhorse? Marshall Faulk had 800, 900 yards rushing seasons. Was he not a workhorse? He was a workhorse. Kamara is a guy that can get you 80, 90 receptions. And the reason he can do that is because he's not running up the middle all the time, which is a good thing to keep a guy healthy. But Kamara is a workhorse. Make no mistake about it. I love guys like Kamara. I love guys like Hollywood Brown. I love some of these rookies for the long term. They could start off slow, but guess what happens when all these veterans get hurt? Rookies like A.J. Dillon step in and take over. So just because rookies start off slow doesn't mean they won't get their opportunity more than people expect. While the veterans more likely to pull muscles, have soft tissue problems, these rookies could become very valuable, more valuable than normal with a slow starting weeks 1 through 2, 3, 4, with less of a chance to hit a rookie wall and be available when the team needs him when veterans go down. It's a presumptuous thing to say, I guess, that more players will get hurt because we don't know. And a lot of times we don't know what other players are doing right now in terms of their physical work. I like CeeDee Lamb a lot. So for Dynasty, CeeDee Lamb could be in the top 10 if I'm doing a Dynasty ranking. This is more redraft. If I were to get Kamara, Drake, would you go Hilaire, Mahomes, or Galladay in the third? I go Mahomes. You can't pass on. I love Hilaire, but you can't pass on Mahomes. Mahomes is more valuable than anybody in the third round. That's crazy. Like Mahomes is gold in the third round. Don't listen to people telling you to wait on a QB when you're staring at the number one player in fantasy football in the face in the third round that could throw for 50 TDs. If someone tells you that there are better options in the third round than Mahomes, they're coming at it from, I mean, I respect anybody's take, but they're coming at it from a perspective that Mahomes won't throw for 45 TDs and run for 3 or 4. They're coming at you from a perspective of that Mahomes is not capable of 50 total TDs. They don't believe it. They're coming at you from a negative QB perspective. If Mahomes isn't there, who were your guys? Mahomes, Galladay, Hilaire. I like Hilaire and Galladay there about equal. Um, I think in a redraft I probably like Galladay more, but I love Hilaire, and in Dynasty I love him there obviously more than Galladay. Hey Smitty, do you have a merch line? I do, and look what I'm wearing. I should have showed this from the beginning. A Take a Lap shirt, which you can find at sleeperu.com/merch. So get on over there and you can buy one of these right now. Take a lap, baby. Take a lap. Take a lap shirt. I should have showed you guys that from the start. Would you go? Already got that one. Hey, Smitty. What are the Packers drafting lazy running back? What's with the Packers drafting lazy running backs? I don't know. Hollywood Brown has the best work ethic I've ever seen, says Bear. Bear feels what I'm throwing down. Bear gets it, man. Bear understands it. Hollywood Brown is going to drop loads in 2020. And I'm going to have all kinds of shares of Hollywood Brown, baby. He's going to drop loads, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to own Hollywood Brown in 2020. Mark my words, this guy is working hard. He's insane. Clyde Edwards-Helaire won't take over the running back one job until sometime after weeks 4, 5, 6. You'd be spotting 4 to 6 weeks before he'll start paying off as a running back one. I mean, that's what I've been saying, Renee, that don't be surprised if these rookies start off really slow, but even if they're firing on all cylinders by week 5 or 6, he could have an elite year, and you're not just starting 0 players from weeks 1 through 4. If he's looking like he'll be more limited than people had hoped, you put another player in there. You dropped a Mark Ingram. Now that J.K. Dobbins is landed in Baltimore, you could drop Mark Ingram really late, who will do a fantastic job in weeks 1 through 4 for you. And in fact, get J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram in redraft and get Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and you're sitting pretty in terms of having a nice rotation at your running back too. And not costing a ton, because Clyde Edwards-Helaire you draft in round 3, Mark Ingram in round 6. Now that JK's there, Mark Ingram's been falling into round 6. JK round 7 as a rookie. People aren't going to, round 8, people aren't going to take JK higher than that. You could have all 3 of those running backs there for your running back 2 spot. Take Zeke Elliott in round 1. Take, Evans in round 2. Clyde Edwards in 3. You have a good team. You have a loaded team right there. But it wouldn't hurt to avoid Clyde Edwards-Helaire and go with another player. I mean, there are players that I like, as much. So Hollywood is a round 3 pick. No, Bear. ADP, Bear. ADP. Average draft position tells you that Hollywood Brown is a round 6, 7 guy. So do not take Hollywood Brown any higher than you have to, or you're missing all of that upside, Bear. Don't do it, Bear. Take Hollywood Brown where you can. Bear gets this. Bear's taking it in. Bear, how long have you been part of the show, man? I'm glad to have you here. Spread the word. I had Swift ahead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire before rookie draft. Now I don't know what to think of Swift in Detroit. I think you need to worry about Swift. God, I got bugs. I smeared bugs on my right arm. I got bird shit on my left arm from my car. This does not feel coronavirus. I do not feel like I'm following coronavirus sanitary staying clean processes right here. I've got bird shit on my left arm, and I've got a dead bug squash on my right, and I still got to run. That's why I'm out here. That's another reason why someone asked me why I'm outside. I'm outside because I'm going to go running after this. About since you started. Thank you, Bear. I appreciate you being here. Guru yelled at me for taking Hollywood in the 6th round. Well, Guru can shove it. Tell Guru to come see me. I'll handle that. Watch out for killer hornets. Yeah, really. Really, man. Should we be handcuffing Kamara? Absolutely, Tommy. There are very few players that are must handcuffs in the NFL anymore. I mean, Lat Murray is one of the must-have. You walk out of your draft without cuffing Kamara to Lat Murray, shame on you. That is a big mistake for anybody that does that. Same goes for Kareem Hunt and Chubb, although that one's more understandable if you miss it because people are taking Hunt so high. But my solution for that is a one trade solution. It's trading your 7th and 8th round pick for a top of the 6th round and draft Hunt with that pick. Don't waste your 1 through 6 picks on Hunt. Use your 7th and 8th to secure Hunt without touching any of your top 6. It's one trade, and it's the solution to all your problems. If you can trade draft picks. What round should we take our handcuffs? It depends on the player. Like Tony Pollard, you better draft Tony Pollard if you draft Zeke Elliott. The guy would be a top 10 running back if he gets inserted. Madison, same thing. And you have no excuse, people, for not taking Madison and Pollard in your fantasy football drafts and Lat Murray. Those are 3 of the top 5 handcuffs in the entire league. Lat Murray, Tony Pollard, and Alexander Madison. And all of them are falling to value that you can afford to reach a full round and a half. That's when you don't go by ADP. You play it safe because the ADPs are so late, it doesn't matter if you reach a round. You reach a round for Madison if you own Cook. You reach a round for Pollard, a round and a half for Pollard if you own Zeke, and you reach no matter what for Lat Murray a round if you have to, if you own Kamara. And you draft all 3 crafty like, even if you don't own a single one of those starters, because you know what to do. You know who to stash on your bench so you can win your league. And Lat Murray, Tony Pollard, Kareem Hunt, Alexander Madison, and J.K. Dobbins are 5 of my favorite. Stash them on your team, whether you own the starter or not, and win your league, because people don't see how valuable these players are late in a draft, in the middle rounds, when people are taking stupid wide receivers on their bench that won't even help. I'll take my wide receiver 4 or even a dumb wide receiver 3 or whatever, when you can take a win a league player like Lat Murray, Tony Pollard, Alexander Madison. Forget about it. Those guys win you a league. Don't worry about your wide receivers. I got to get off the golf cart. Guy's going to kick me out. But I appreciate all of you. Follow, subscribe if you haven't. If you're new to the show, subscribe. Yeah, Corey Davis is always the player I throw out there. Instead of taking Corey Davis, take J.K. Dobbins. I'm out of here before I get kicked out. Peace out to all of you. Appreciate you. Subscribe, follow, be bold. Go over to sleeperu.com and get your bolder rankings and content. It's all waiting for you at sleeperu.com. I revamped the rankings. They're unbelievable. The top 200 across the board for rookies, top 200 for super rookies. Super rookie rankings are my sophomores and incoming rookie class only rankings. People love them. They're the most sought after rankings on sleeperu.com because people love the dynasty angle that provides them. It's sophomores and rookies only. So I have the top 200 for those, the top 200 for rookies, the top 200 dynasty, the top 200 redraft, positional cheat sheets for all of them. And then my trade calculator has been enhanced by an extreme degree and gives you both redraft and dynasty values for a reason. Because when you make a dynasty trade, why would you eliminate the redraft perspective when you are still thinking about how does this dynasty trade help me for 2020? And if you know that it doesn't hurt you all that much in redraft, but helps you big time in dynasty, why not have both redraft and dynasty trade values and cost values in your trade evaluation when it can help you push you over the edge and say, you know what? It's not hurt me in redraft that much. I'm going to make this trade. Aaron scored lots of TDs last year, but his volume, he looks like a problem. Yeah, 1085, I think, or 1084 was his rushing yardage. Aaron Jones survived off 19 TDs. Aaron Jones, his bread and butter category that kept him in the top 10 running backs, kept him near the top 5, was TDs, 19 TDs, and they brought in a TD hog and A.J. Dillon. That's a disaster for a running back that had only 1084, that has a team in the Green Bay Packers that they don't believe in him. Every time they're asked, are you going to believe in Aaron Jones now that he scored 19 TDs? No, we're going to bring in another running back and share the workload. And then they draft A.J. Dillon, a guy that's bigger than Derrick Henry stature-wise. So stay away from Aaron Jones at first, second round value. He climbs into the mid third, late third. I start liking him a little more, especially if you cuff him to A.J. Dillon, because I think you will be able to be somewhat predictive with who's going to be the starter. Or if Aaron Jones gets hurt, like I've been predicting, just own A.J. Dillon. Grab him late in your draft, even in redraft, especially in redraft, and well, especially in Dynasty, but definitely in redraft too, because A.J. Dillon could be that guy, kind of like Lat Murray, but a guy you could get even later that can help win you a league. So double A, don't believe in Aaron Jones, man. Not at a second round value. Not a second round value. Late third, sure. But you got to be worried about it. Go get N'Keal Harry this year, says JP. I agree. In Dynasty, he's going to blow up. Subscribe, follow, sleeperu.com. And if you want to get on my Discord, which is like a chat where all of us are hanging out, the most active people from the comments that can't get enough, and they're going over to my Discord. It's a chat, like a chat room app. Imagine you've got a trade offer on the table. You need to get advice quick. Who do you go to or start bench advice? You go to the most active, crazy followers of my community. They're all over at sleeperu.com/discord. Sleeper, the letter u.com/discord. Go to sleeperu.com for the rankings, bold predictions, and make sure you subscribe to the show. Peace out. I appreciate all of you. Let's make this the best fantasy football show on the planet in 2020. We're going to get to 15K followers by August. You watch. Later, guys.